Hey folks, welcome into the Alabama Football Report. I am your host, Cam Rogers. Check me out on Twitter at Mr. Rogers99. Happy National Signing Day Eve, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting you set with all the latest news and rumors surrounding recruiting. And of course, I've got top 10 list here of players who have signed with Alabama / committed. We'll go through those at the end of the program. Let's start off with rumor number one. Could the Crimson Tide be a top 3 2018 class? We are giving this 3 Bear Bryant hats. Nick Saban and Alabama are in unfamiliar territory heading into the final days before National Signing Day. Of course, tomorrow, the Crimson Tide do not currently have the nation's top class, and they're almost certainly not going to end up there, but that's not all doom and gloom in Tuscaloosa. ESPN recruiting analyst Tom Luginbill still believes Alabama can secure a top 3 signing class tomorrow. Quote, they'd love to get an offensive tackle, they'd love to get a wideout, and would love to get a corner. If they were to nail all 3 of those, they're in the top 3 in my mind at the end of tomorrow, so it will be interesting to see what takes place. However, he also added that Alabama likely won't have a shot at the number 1 spot, currently occupied by Ohio State. According to Luginbill, Alabama's playing a losing numbers game in that regard, saying, quote, I just don't know if their sheer numbers, because they don't have the available scholarships to give out that the teams above them have, would get them in contention for number 1, he said. Alabama currently has 18 commits, while Georgia has 22, and there is Ohio State with 24. Before we get into our next rumor, how we doing, ladies and gentlemen? This is the Alabama Football Report. I'm your guy, Cam Rogers. Check me out on Twitter at Mr. Rogers99. Let's get into the rumor scale here, ladies and gentlemen, giving you guys a little context of what we mean by these Bear Bryant hats. So 0 Bear Bryant hats. Well, that is fake news, ladies and gentlemen. Do not believe it at all. We are writing it off as not believable. 1 Bear Bryant hat. A little shout out from Phyllis from Mulga, which means it's pretty unlikely. 2 Bear Bryant hats. People are talking. We can't confirm, but where there's smoke, there could be fire, ladies and gentlemen. 3 Bear Bryant hats, more probable than not. But our sources in Tuscaloosa have not confirmed just yet. And 4 Bear Bryant hats. Roll Tide, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed a fact. All right, let's roll along here in the Alabama Football Report. News and rumor number 2. Could an All-American defensive back have canceled his visit with Alabama? Well, this is news. We're giving this 4 Bear Bryant hats. Roll Tide. 4-star safety Leon O'Neal has indeed canceled his official visit to Tuscaloosa, according to a source close with the program. O'Neal visited at Cy Springs High School earlier this week by Nick Saban, who convinced the defensive back to take an official visit to Tuscaloosa before making his final decision. That's no longer happening. O'Neal will now sign with either Clemson, Georgia, or Texas A&M when he makes his decision. All right, news and rumor number 3. The Tide in play for the nation's number 1 cornerback. We are giving this 3 Bear Bryant hats. So, of course, signing day is indeed tomorrow. Alabama currently sits at number 6 in the rankings on 24/7 Sports. Still, the Crimson Tide are in the mix for some major recruits, including 1 5-star cornerback, Patrick Surtain Jr. Yes, it is Surtain, YouTube commenters. Surtain is the number 6 player overall and the number 1 corner for the 2018 class. LSU is also in the running, but Alabama still has a chance here. Signing Surtain would give Alabama its 2nd 5-star recruit. Surtain is one of the big-time recruits that will be announcing tomorrow. All right, next news and rumor. Does Alabama have a great shot at landing cornerback Eddie Smith? We're giving this 4 Bear Bryant hats, ladies and gentlemen. Roll Tide. So the situation here, Smith took an official visit to Alabama on January 26th. Coming out of that trip, there was supreme confidence in the Crimson Tide landing Smith's signature. So going into his decision tomorrow, how would he classify Alabama's chances of landing his signature? He said, quote, "They have a great shot." So 3 greats there, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be a tough decision. All I can do now is pray and talk to my family about it and trust God is going to guide me to the right school. He went on to say, winning a national championship is every recruit's dream. You go to Alabama, and you're going to have a great shot at it. Holding that crystal ball trophy is like a dream come true. I really want to win a championship when I'm in college. It's a big goal of mine. I'm one step closer to my dream. All right, next news and rumor here. Alabama, are they going to swing highly recruited Tennessee commit Georgia linebacker J.J. Peterson? Well, we're giving this 2 Bear Bryant hats. All right, so people are talking about this one. Alabama has continued to aggressively pursue that 4-star Georgia linebacker J.J. Peterson, and it's unclear even to at least some close to Peterson whether the top 50 recruit is going to stick with his commitment to Tennessee or actually sign with the Tide. Quote, "Alabama has made a very strong push," said Rush Propest. Either one, Alabama or Tennessee, is a clear favorite as of Sunday afternoon. I think it's a dead heat right now, 50-50. Rush, of course, the former head coach there of Peterson. Quote, "As long as I've known Coach Saban, I've never seen anybody pick up the pressure more than he did on JJ as far as just trying to get him to change his mind or take his visits and see which one you like after the visits and make your mind up after you do that. So would I think Alabama's in a very good position? So I would think Alabama is in a very good position right now," said the head coach there. And Peterson, who committed to the Vols January 6th, took an official visit to Tennessee January 12th, and then officially visited Alabama January 19th. Those were the only 2 official visits for Peterson, the 3rd best outside linebacker and 48th best overall prospect in this year's recruiting class. All right, next news and rumor here. Is it a 3-team race for one Quay Walker? So we are giving this 4 Bear Bryant hats. Roll Tide, it is news. Those 3 schools, according to the 4-star linebackers high school coach, are the Crimson Tide, Tennessee, and Georgia. The Georgia native remains committed to Alabama. The feeling for at least some familiar with this recruitment is that Tennessee is probably the favorite to land him at this point. Helping the Vols is that Walker had a great relationship with Jeremy Pruitt when Pruitt was at Alabama, which Pruitt has continued to build on since taking over as Tennessee's head coach. In addition, Walker had pre-existing relationships with 3 other Vols coaches, including defensive coordinator Kevin Shurer. Shurer was Walker's primary recruiter when he was at Georgia. Quote, "Tennessee to me is that wild card," Harbor, his high school coach, said. "Tennessee wasn't even really on the map at all, but you have all these guys that Quay's familiar with, and now they're all at Tennessee." Still, Alabama is hoping to keep Walker as part of its class. Walker took an official visit to Alabama January 19th. Outside linebackers coach Josh Lupoy then visited Walker in Georgia last week, and Coach Nick Saban visited Walker in Georgia earlier this week. According to Harbor, it's still possible Walker could sign with the Tide, saying, quote, "Given the fact that he has not decommitted from them or anything, I think they have a chance." All right, next news and rumor, ladies and gentlemen. Alabama might not land a 2018 quarterback. We are giving this 3 Bear Bryant hats. So pretty likely here. So here's the deal. It's looking like Alabama will not end up signing a quarterback on scholarship in the 2018 recruiting class. Just days after 4-star quarterback Brevin White decided to stick with his commitment to Princeton, Brock Purdy, a 3-star quarterback from Perry High School, told SEC Country that he has eliminated the Tide from consideration, saying, quote, "I'm moving on from them." The Alabama coaching staff didn't let Purdy know if he had a committable offer or not, which is the reason why he has decided to stop considering the school. Purdy will make his decision, of course, on National Signing Day tomorrow. And with Purdy off the board, the only remaining quarterback target is 4-star prospect James Foster from Sidney Lanier High School. who is down to Alabama, Florida State, LSU, and Texas A&M. I do not expect the Tide to strongly pursue Foster. All right, let's get to news and note. Number 8. So, former Tide QB son to Alabama. So we're giving this 4 Bear Bryant hats. Roll Tide, we're talking about one Braxton Barker, a quarterback from Spain Park High School, announced on Twitter that he is going to attend Alabama. Braxton is the son of former Alabama quarterback Jay Barker, who played for the Tide in the early 1990s and led the team to a national championship win over Miami in 1992. Barker will hope to earn a scholarship at a later date, so he will not count against the total scholarship numbers in the 2018 class. News and rumor number 9. Will Jalen Hurts transfer? So we're giving this 2 Bear Bryant hats. People are talking about this one. So most specifically, Tom Luginbill of ESPN, when discussing Alabama's situation at quarterback for the class of 2018, Luginbill stated, quote, "Right now, Alabama is in a position where they are forced to anticipate that they may not have the services of Jalen Hurts after spring ball. So while Jalen himself hasn't spoken of this, his transferring could make sense with the rise of Tua Tagovailoa." All right, we do have a reaction poll for all you folks watching the program right now. Do you think Jalen Hurts will transfer after spring ball? Give us a like for no, he is staying. Or give us an angry face for see you later, Jalen Hurts. He is gone. This is the Alabama Football Report here on Chat Sports Facebook Live. I'm Cam Rogers. How we doing, ladies and gentlemen? Check me out on Twitter at Mr. Rogers and a 99. I'm getting you set for National Signing Day, which of course is tomorrow. I'm sure everybody is very excited about that. So I've got Alabama's top 10 players in their 2018 class. We're talking about signees and commits collectively. Let's take a look at number 10 here. Xavier Williams, wide receiver out of Florida. And Xavier, 4-star wide receiver out of the Sunshine State, is the 143rd ranked prospect in the nation, a 6'1", 190-pound prospect who runs a 4.6 40. The 4-star recruit was also heavily recruited by the U, but Mike Loxley and his crew locked him in for 2018. So there is Xavier Williams checking in at number 10. Let's take a look at number 9. We got Tommy Brown, guard out of California. And Tommy Brown played high school at the NFL powerhouse, Mater Dei. Brown is considered the 4th best player in his position for the class of 2018. And at 6'7", he's a big fella. Sure to make an immediate impact on that dominant, physical Alabama offensive line. All right, let's take a look at Cameron Latu, defensive end out of Utah. He checks in at number 8 in our list here. And he is a weak side defensive end, to be more exact, from Salt Lake City. He is the 3rd best player in the state and the 7th best player at his position for this class of 2018. And by the way, check out that hair, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, I need a lesson from one Cameron. As one Cameron to another, Latu, I would love some advice on how to get that flow going. All right, let's go to number 7 here. We're talking about Emil Ekiyor. And he is, of course, the center from Indiana. Ekiyor is the best player in his state, by the way, and the 3rd best center in the class of 2018. Ekiyor was originally a Michigan commit, but flipped to the Crimson Tide back in late October. So he's there at number 7. Number 6, let's go to the defensive side of the ball. Josh Jobe here, cornerback out of Connecticut. And Jobe, 6'1", 190. Rounding out the bottom half of Bama's top 10 recruits here. And he is the 4-star cornerback out of Connecticut, as I mentioned. Jobe is the best player coming out of that state as well, ranked number 4 among all corners, as if that Alabama defense, ladies and gentlemen, couldn't get any better. Looks like it's going to. Let's take a look at number 5 here. Jordan Davis, defensive end out of Tennessee, 6'5", 238. Starting in the top 5 here, and a weak side defensive end at that from Memphis, Tennessee, although Davis got offers from a slew of schools, Georgia, Florida State, and Florida, just to name a few. Tennessee's 2nd best player joined the Crimson Tide on early National Signing Day. So there he is at number 5. Number 4, Jalen Armour Davis, cornerback out of Alabama, 6'1", or he's actually the 4-star corner from Louisville, to be more exact, and 6'1", 190. And great size, and for a corner, you love that length and ability, and I think he will be a fantastic player for the Crimson Tide. So he's there at number 4. Checking in at number 3, Stephon Wynn, strong side defensive end from Florida. And Wynn is, of course, breaking into this top 3 here, the first top 100 player to make an appearance on this list. Wynn is a Florida native, has been Roll Tide since all the way back in July of last year, and is already taking classes in Tuscaloosa, so don't you worry about him going anywhere. Let's take a look at number 2 now, outside linebacker Quay Walker. We talked about him in the rumors section here today. So Quay Walker coming in as one of Alabama's top 10 recruits in the class of 2018, 4-star linebacker who returned his nose to his local Georgia Bulldogs, and has been a hard commit to play for Nick Saban since June of 2017. Look for him to don that crimson red come tomorrow. And then finally, checking in at number 1, Eyabi Anoma, weak side defensive end there out of Maryland, 6'5", 235, 5-star weak side defensive end from Baltimore, to be exact. And Anoma is the number 1 player in his state, number 1 in his position, and the 4th best player in the class of 2018. Something tells me he's going to be pretty darn good. This has been the Alabama Football Report here on Chat Sports Facebook Live. Make sure you like the Alabama Facebook page by Chat Sports so you know when we go live, and we do appreciate you tuning into the program, getting all the latest and greatest surrounding Alabama football. I am Cam Rogers. I am signing off. Enjoy National Signing Day. Chat Sports has some great programming coming at you for tomorrow, so keep it on all of our Facebook pages. I am Cam Rogers saying goodbye. Take care.